Okay, balconies. On the balconies, when you have walls like that, we have to sweep them. Obviously, they will be quite dusty. So make sure you get a broom, but a broom that is not wet and not too dirty, obviously. Yeah. So depending on how much it is, just go all over it and make sure you get rid of all the dust. Yeah. It's quite dusty in here. You might not see it, but I can see it. And so on. The window, perhaps you have done it already before you start balcony. You would do the window, all the frames, make sure that's all gone. So all of that is gone. Before you do the tiles, all of the windows has to be done. So you don't get that back on. All the sliding doors have to be done, including all of this has to be gone. Alright, so next stop is for us to sweep. While I'm sweeping, make sure I'll get every corner. And while I'm sweeping, I have my scraper that I use for the floors. And if I see something, I'll scrape it straight away. Let's see that, for example. I'll scrape it straight away. If there's some paint, some grout, the better you prepare your floor, the easier it will be for you afterwards to clean. Okay, so now we use hydrochloride acid. At the moment, that's the one that helps us with the balconies. It's the most toughest chemical, it's the strongest chemical, so you gotta be careful with it. We mix it with the water, 1 to 5 approximately. And important is that you put the water first and then you put acid into it. We have gloves that we use, the thick gloves. If the chemical doesn't go through the thin ones, they're not going to help you. So in this case, I don't have them on me, but I will show you. You be careful when you open it up. Stand a little bit back because the fumes are just so strong. I'll put just a little bit, because I'm only going to show you a little area. So I'll put a little bit of water in there and I'll put a little bit of acid. Slowly you would know exactly how much to mix. So this is just that little bit I need for that part of water. But just bear in mind 1 to 5, yeah? Okay. So make sure that you stand a little bit further. It's really, really dangerous. Okay, when I get this acid bottle away, I'll make sure that I bring it outside. I put it somewhere out there. I don't put it in the units. Because it might have dripped somewhere, and if it drips somewhere on the tile or on other surfaces, it will damage it. So make sure that you put it somewhere outside, or you use a piece of carpet where you put it on, or you use cloth just near the balcony where you use it, but make sure it doesn't connect with any other surfaces. All right. So then we have something called doodle brush. Doodle brush is to help to put it on. We have this white square on it, and it helps to put it on. I'll start in one corner and I'll continue. Important is that you put acid on quite wet. Don't splash it nowhere else, but it has to be quite wet. Don't let it dry. If you let it dry, it's going to be very difficult to remove the white smear on the tiles. So make sure that it's not too wet but not too dry. Just pretty much like that. I would advise you use a mask
and
gloves. If you get in contact with it, then you are protected. So once again, make sure that this bucket, you wipe it underneath before you go somewhere. You put it on a piece of carpet, you put it outside somewhere. Don't put it on the tiles in the kitchen or whatever area that is out there. So for now, I'll just put it in here. Okay. We'll leave it for about 10 to 15 minutes. Make sure it doesn't dry up. If it's a sunny area, if it's a windy area, depending on which part of the building you are, make sure you put it again on top of it so it stays wet. Okay, let me grab my gloves and we'll come back after 10 minutes. Alright, so 10-15 minutes is past now. Just walk out of the door. I've put my clothes in there. I'm wiping my shoes off just in case I stepped with my shoes into the acid. So I'm just making sure I'm not walking with it over. I'm locking the sliding doors, so the smell of the acid doesn't go inside. Now, while it's still on it, it's up to you how you prefer. I prefer not to wash it off with the water first. I prefer to go right on the acid. I'm quite fine with it, but I would suggest you put a mask on it when you do that. So I'll grab my green scaro or a wire scaro. Either one of them should be working. Important is that you use it on wet. So for now this is all quite wet, but if it dries up a little bit, make sure that you grab a bit of acid again or some water again. It has to be on wet, it can't be on dry, yeah? Alright, so I'll start in one corner and I'll continue in another one. If I see something like that, I have to scrape it off. All the corners have to be clear. So this is not acceptable, this has to be scraped off. To a certain point, obviously, I can't do all of it, but this has to be gone, yeah? Alright, so, yeah, quite wet. Okay, and then I'll scrub it. What I will do, I will go through one by one. Every tile I will go through. I'll watch what I can scrap. I scrap this. Remove paint, grout, render, silicone has to go. See all of that? That has to be removed. Alright, we scraped everything off. Now, this is a really harsh chemical. We need to neutralize it. It's the chemical we call Bonza. It's pH neutral, so we use it just for the floors or just to neutralize the chemical. It's not much you need, just that little bit. That will help. We need to wash it off. So just before I do that, I prepare my mop. I'll make sure I'm ready, because very often we're not lucky enough to have the access to the outside. We'll have a drain in the middle or a drain somewhere in the corner. Whatever the drain is, we need to put that water in there. Alright, so let's imagine that the drain was there. So I put some water and I will use my mop. I'll give some pressure because I know there was so much green scale that I used on it. I will make sure that I wipe off this green white spots after the scale. Okay. I'll put some more water and just make sure this is all clear. I'll grab another bucket of water and I'll put a bit of Bonza in there as well. Just that little bit. Really not much that we need. And I'll dry it up. Dry it really well up. Really well. And now we have to make sure it's dry. Yep. So in the corners, make sure you get all the corners. Otherwise, just mop it. Yep. This is all I will do. Now I need to dry it up already. It's already wet. Watch. See? Mm-hmm. So you have to make sure that you dry up really well. I wash the cloth. Really squeeze out. I'll go one more time. And when it dries up completely, I'll have to come back and check where are the spots that I have missed. Now imagine I would miss some spots. Everything is already dry, right? So I'll grab my green scaro. I will grab a cloth, not this one, perhaps the red one that I normally use for the floors. I really well squeeze it out. That's just for imagine that there was a spot that I have missed. Let's say that was a spot that I have missed. I would go with my green scaro, get it off, and I'll make sure that I have to wipe it afterwards. If I don't, it will leave whitish, greenish spots on it. And so I'll go everywhere that I have missed something. If I need to scrub again, I scrub again. If I need to use my scaro, I use that. I'll make sure that every little bit is gone. Okay, now after we finished with everything, what you would do with the bucket of acid? Now first of all, most of the time you guys are sharing it. If you work with me and you don't have your own gear, we're sharing it with others. So make sure that they know where it is and that it is acid. It's all written down on there. It's quite important, yeah? Where we're throwing it out, if we do cases like that, we can throw it somewhere on the ground, yes? Otherwise, we have to mix that left acid that is there with more water and put it in the toilet. If it's just acid as it is, a bit too harsh. So if it was acid until there, put that much water in so you kind of dissolve it and then put it in the toilet. But flush it straight away. Flush the toilet straight away. Do it a couple of times if possible because it can damage the toilet. Okay, so now with the doodle brush, and now it is full of acid, right? So I will grab a bucket of water and I put it in the bucket of water, preferably also with our bonza a little bit. I put it in there, I wash it out, I squeeze it down, and if need to, I will carry it in my bucket, yeah? But make sure it doesn't drip and drop on anywhere else. All right,